welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tanner. I am a travel agent specializing in Disney World and Royal Caribbean vacations. I'm a mom, I'm a dog mom, and I live on the seacoast kind of section of New Hampshire. So today we're going to be talking about a highly kind of asked question of me as a travel agent and just in my daily life from people that know me and know that I frequent the Disney parks and I kind of take in all the Disney content that I can. A lot of people ask me about choosing their Disney resort. And so this video is really all about how to choose the perfect Disney resort for you. And I'm emphasizing that because I could answer the question for me, but even for me, that question really depends on what time of year am I going, who am I going with, how long am I staying for, what am I trying to get accomplished while I'm there. So it's a very personalized set of kind of questions or criteria that I work through with my clients when I'm helping them plan vacations. So I'm going to give you kind of the highlight reel of what we talk about. The very first important part to identify, of course, is the budget. And budget is the least fun question, but has to be asked because I don't want any of my clients, or me for that matter, when I'm planning a vacation, to get very interested in, let's say, all that the Polynesian has to offer as far as proximity to the Magic Kingdom and the monorail and the wonderful restaurants and the theming, and then find out down the road after I've been planning for a little while that that is not going to work for my budget. So budget always comes first. And there is a little bit of leeway in a budget conversation because although you may be looking to stay, maybe you want to stay for 7 nights, stay for a full week, perhaps if you are able to bring your vacation down to 5 nights or 6 nights, maybe your budget can do something different for you in that way. Or some of my clients like to do what's called a split stay. So a split stay is essentially staying at more than one resort while you are there in the Disney bubble. And that may mean that you are going from a value resort for maybe 4 nights, and then your last 2 nights you're going to spend somewhere a little bit nicer, a moderate or a deluxe even hotel. So again, there are some pluses and minuses and kind of some little tweaks that have to be done if that's what you're looking to do. So ask me in the comment section if that's something that you're interested in. So the next important thing to discuss is the proximity of where you want to spend the most time while you are at Disney World with where you are planning to stay. So let me give you a scenario. So if you have a younger family, you have little kids, especially if you have first timers in your group, you're probably going to be spending a lot of time in Magic Kingdom. Not all your time, because all the parks are for kids and first timers, but there's a natural sort of tendency with kids that are younger to spend a lot of time at Magic Kingdom. I spend a lot of time at Magic Kingdom when I go to Disney because it's great. It's a great park. And there's a lot of rides there, but maybe it makes sense then for you to stay on the monorail loop, sort of right near the Magic Kingdom park, so you can get in and out easily if you're planning on still doing a normal nap time for a young child, or you want to be able to get back and forth to your resort quickly from the park you're going to be spending the most time in. So it might not make sense, for example, for you to stay at somewhere like Pop Century if that's kind of your plan. On the flip side though, maybe you want to spend most of your time in Epcot and Hollywood Studios, in which case it would make a lot of sense for you to stay somewhere along the Skyliner route for quick access to both of those parks. The next important thing to talk about is the size of the room and configuration that you need for your family or party size. So if you are, there's 2 of you maybe going, 2 adults and 2 children, a typical size hotel room will usually work because most of those rooms have 2 queen beds, and they also may have a pull down bed of some sort that fits, I would say, like a person no taller than maybe like 5'5" 5 maybe. And even a smaller adult could fit on those as well. But typically that's what you'll find in most of the rooms. But there are lots of other options available to you. And there are rooms that have a family suite, or resorts that offer a family suite. And even in the value resorts, you're going to find some in that category, such as Art of Animation. They have some options. And then in the deluxe hotels, some of those even offer villa style suites where you are going to find 1, 2, even 3 bedroom configurations if you have a large group and you all want to stay together. The next really important thing you want to consider is transportation to and from the park. Now, if you're staying in the Disney bubble on Disney property, and even if you're staying just outside of that, there are lots of options available to you, but everything within the Disney bubble, transportation to and from the parks is included in your stay. You will not have to pay any additional money if you are using the Disney transportation system. So that consists of buses, boats, the Skyliner, and the monorail. All of those are free to you options if you're staying on Walt Disney World property. But you may prefer one over the other, or you may want to avoid some. If you are perhaps afraid of heights, you might not want to go on the Skyliner. So think about how you're going to be getting back and forth to the parks. What parks are you going to be going to, and how easy using Disney transportation is it going to be to do that? Let me give you an example. So if you're somebody who doesn't really love the Disney buses, and I will say, I don't know if anybody really loves them. I don't mind them. They don't bother me. Some people are really, I don't want to say offended by them, but they're just not some people's favorites, the Disney buses. It is challenging if you have a large stroller that you need to break down. That can be difficult, and on a really hot day when you're just wanting to get back to your resort, having to cram onto the bus with a lot of other people that are also hot and sweaty isn't ideal. I will definitely agree on that. But the Disney buses are going to be available to you at any resort, no matter where you're going. But there are other options. So if you are somebody who really doesn't like the buses, I would maybe take a look at where you're staying and try to stay somewhere that has at least one other option available to get to one or more parks. For example, if you are staying in the Epcot or area of Walt Disney World, that's going to be the Beach Club, the Yacht Club, also the Swan and Dolphin, and then the Boardwalk Hotel. All of those hotels around that little water area, they have a lot of options. You can walk into Epcot. You can walk into Hollywood Studios if you want. It's about a 20-minute walk from the Beach Club or Yacht Club hotels. You can jump into you're almost in Epcot at that point, but you can jump right onto the Skyliner and ride the Skyliner to Hollywood Studios. And there are also the friendship boats, which will bring you to Hollywood Studios. And if you're staying like at the Swan and Dolphin, you can hop on that boat to bring you into Epcot even, although there are some stops along the way. So consider what you like as far as transportation, what you might want to experience, and if the hotel you're considering has that as an option. The next important thing is a very personal sort of preference question. And this is about what kind of vibe you want your hotel to have. What are you looking for your hotel to provide to you, and what kind of experience do you want to have there? Are you someone who's only going to be using your resort for eating, sleeping, and showering, and that's it, and you're going to be in the parks from rope drop to park close? Are you one of those people? If that's the case, I would say maybe don't invest in staying at a deluxe or moderate hotel. Maybe you go value because it's just a place to rest your head. Although there are upsides to staying. If you're a park person who wants to be in the park all day long, maybe you do want to be a little closer to the parks and stay at a deluxe or moderate hotel. So there are definitely things to consider there. Consider what activities your resort has. Do you have kids that are fish? Like my son loves to swim in a pool, in which case make sure that you have a nice pool at your resort. And that's something that I can keep an eye on for you as well, because all of these hotels periodically will go through maintenance, whether that be room renovations or even pool renovations, and they can close the pools occasionally for updating. So that's something I can keep an eye on for you. So you really want to kind of take a deep dive into what you want your hotel to provide to you and make sure that that's part of your consideration. And one other note on the type of hotel that you're staying at as far as theming is that some of the hotels, value hotels are really what I'm thinking about. They have a big, over-the-top, fantastic Disney theming. That's great if you are into that, if you have kids that are really into that. It's not for everyone. Some people really want to stay somewhere that feels tropical. So maybe you want to stay at Caribbean Beach or the Polynesian. So maybe you want to stay somewhere that feels a little bit more elevated, like somewhere like the Grand Floridian or the Riviera. So there really is a hotel vibe and theme for every person. And the sixth thing that we're going to talk about is what kind of dining your resort provides. So this is one that people tend to overlook, and I feel that it's really important because it will definitely play into the type of vacation that you're going to have. So think about the party that you're traveling with. Do you have picky people in your party as far as food goes, picky eaters? Do you have people that want to have a fine dining experience every evening for their meal? Do you have people in your party that want to do cooking and save some money by doing some meal prep in their room? You can, in fact, bring, I don't know if you know this, but you can, in fact, bring a packed lunch into the park. So you do not have to rely on the quick service and table service restaurants in the park. If you don't know, quick service is when you are ordering at a counter, or sometimes you can mobile order and you would pick up your food like on a tray, find your table, sit down and enjoy it, versus table service where a host or hostess is going to be sitting you at a table. Then you get a waiter or waitress who comes over to take your order and brings you your food. So a little bit of a different, and there's buffet options as well and character dining. So there's lots of different varieties of different places you can eat depending on where you're staying. So you want to take that into consideration. And I did mention there, if you caught that, about making food in your room. And yes, some of the resorts do offer rooms that have kitchenettes or even full-blown kitchens. I've heard of a person cooking an entire Thanksgiving meal while they stayed at Disney. So there's lots of different options. It just depends on what you want to be doing while you're there. Personally, I like to have just enough space for like a kitchenette. I'd love to have obviously a coffee maker in the morning and some kind of a refrigerator or cooler to put a little bit of food in. I do typically do a grocery order delivered to my resort so that I can have just a few things on hand. Snacks, like some bananas for the morning, some granola bars to throw in my park bag. I like to order water ahead of time. So I like to have just enough room for that. I am not interested in cooking a meal. That is my time off where I don't have to cook or do dishes, but there's all different types of vacations that you can have at Disney. And if cooking is part of what the kind of vacation you want to have, it can be done. Now let's talk about my bonus consideration for this video, and that is to consider what your hotel may offer for perks. So if you're staying on Disney property, and even some of the what we call good neighbor hotels that Disney sort of has a working relationship with, all of those hotels offer what is called early entry into the park. So anybody staying on Disney property or in the good neighbor hotels can enter the parks a half hour prior to its opening, when the other guests would be allowed to come. So people who live nearby and just come for the day, or who are not staying on property or at a good neighbor hotel. So a half hour, you can get quite a bit done in a half hour. You can do a very nice rope job and get 1 or 2, even 3 rides kind of checked off your list before the parks get too busy. So that's a perk you're gonna get if you are staying on Disney property, no matter what. It's a good one, but that's gonna be for everybody. However, if you are staying at a deluxe hotel on Disney property, and that also includes the Swan and Dolphin hotels, you will be able to stay late in the parks some of the parks on some nights. Now, I want to preface this by saying that there are different schedules depending on the time of year, and that if you're interested in that experience, that's something that I can walk you through as your travel agent. But for example, right now, I looked at the Disney calendar. It's only showing up to right now the halfway through the second week of June. But as of right now, what I am seeing on the calendar, on the website and on the travel agent website, is that they are showing the extended evening hours on Monday nights in Epcot and on Wednesday nights in Magic Kingdom. So what that means is that, let's say that Epcot on Monday night closes at 9 o'clock. And again, the times can change depending on the time of year that we are talking about. But as of right now, a 9 o'clock close for Epcot. If you are a deluxe stay guest, you can go into the park and stay until 11 o'clock. So that's 2 additional hours after the park has closed and everyone else has left for the night. And then on Wednesday nights, they're offering the same thing at Magic Kingdom. Now, you can get a lot done during that time. The crowd level is way, way, way down at that point. And you don't even need, or can you purchase lightning lanes during that time? That's kind of a skip the line if you're not familiar. Service which you can typically pay for during the day. You do not need it at night and cannot even get it during those extended evening hours. And it does not cost you anything extra as a deluxe guest. So that's something that's a huge perk that in my opinion, should be taken advantage of if the people in your party are people that can hang at night. If you have little kids, probably not a good idea. And I'm going to remind you of something that I mentioned in one of my other videos about Disney and travel. Your family is your family. Just because you bring them somewhere magical, don't expect them to behave magically. So if your little one is used to an 8 o'clock bedtime, my advice is don't push it too far, because you don't want to have a meltdown, an overtired child who then doesn't want to get up in the morning and do whatever you have planned for the next day. So try to keep your children on this relatively the same schedule they have at home while you're traveling. It will save you a lot of tears and headaches, in my opinion. So that was my video today. Now, I have some exciting news. If you stayed to the end, you get to hear my exciting news. I am going to Disney on a solo trip in June. I'm not going to give you the dates for privacy reasons, but I'm going to be staying at the Dolphin. So that's exciting. I've never been there. That is one of the hotels that will give you the deluxe perk of being able to do the extended evening hours on certain nights in certain parks. So I will be very excited to bring you that kind of content. Here's my big ask for you. First, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. If you're interested in all kinds of content I'm going to be bringing you while I am in Disney, please go over to Instagram. Find me there. I'm going to leave the information below, but I'll tell you on here too. My name over there is trips_with_Tanner, Trips with Tanner. And you go over and follow me on Instagram, where I'm going to be bringing you a whole lot more content than I will sort of be able to do here on YouTube. And then please let me know in the comments down below, what are you looking for me to bring to you as far as content? Are there resorts you want to see? Are there certain rides that you want some more information on? Do you want me to bring you sort of like in real time, this is how much it says the wait is going to be versus how much time I'm actually spending in line? So let me know what you're interested in seeing. I will try to bring you as much content as I can. Thank you for listening. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you need a travel agent who is type A, so you don't have to be, I'm your girl. Take care and see you in my next video.